What I felt like, I don't. Did you see the Baldy hour sit down with Spagnuolo?
No.
It's really good. It's really good, and only because it's Spags, right? And so you get it, and he loves Baldy and this guy Gargano, and so he went on their podcast and he talked pretty openly about just about this game and about what their plan was. And he said, the number one goal for the Chiefs in this game was they felt like if Kyle established McCaffrey and the ground game, that if they couldn't stop it, that he would just
the
stay
game
with
was over.
That he would just stay with it all day. And so
go ahead. I have to chime in. I got to chime in. Football is not rocket science. And whoever tries to talk to you like it is, don't know shit. If there's anybody talking to you about football like it's complicated and they want to start putting all of these bells and whistles around it and start using terminology that they ain't never fucking heard of in their life, they don't know shit. It's a defense mechanism. They're hiding. If you can't teach something to a child, then you ain't an expert. That's the proof. You should be able to teach it to the lowest common denominator. If you can't do that, then you don't know ball.
It isn't all that complicated. It really isn't. Though it can sound complicated when people get into the breakdown, but it's all basic, right? Offensive football, create space, precision, timing. Defensive football, accountability, effort, close space. That's it. The rest of it is bells and whistles. But Spags mentioned that they really didn't have a solution for Kittle. That their goal, that it's very difficult to take both the tight end out of the offense and stop the run. But he said, thanks to our personnel, we have L'Jarius Sneed and we have Trent McDuffie, and we matched up McDuffie on Ayuk, or we matched up Sneed on Ayuk and felt really good about that matchup all day. And then we put Trent on Debo. And he said that was the secret ingredients to everything that we do and everything that we did. It's just we had the ability to play man against the Niner wide receivers, and we won. I mean, it was really that simple. And I don't know about Debo's health in this game because he wasn't healthy, obviously, in that Green Bay game, which was just a couple games before. I was surprised that the Niners went to Debo and at McDuffie, who was an all-pro despite not having one interception. I mean, think about that. You're an all-pro nickelback. You didn't have one pick. Well, what does that tell you? It tells you that his coverage ability is just second to none. Yeah. I mean, he's an awesome cover guy. He was a first-round pick for a reason, and he absolutely blanketed Debo. And he said that, Spags was like, hey, look, the 49ers went to max protect in the first half to try to give Brock, a clean pocket, and he took some shots down the field, and one of them was the deep ball touchdown that was just a perfect dime to Debo, and McDuffie just made a great play. I mean,
that was against man coverage. That was zero. All right, there's no, there were so many instances where the Chiefs were just saying, we're just trusting. We're gonna play man on. He got to get open. And he just didn't win.
I mean, and they did some other things too. I mean, they knew that Purdy could scramble, and they saw it in the film leading up. And he's like, we were very concerned about Purdy's scrambling ability, but then we just put Willie Gay and kind of spied him a little bit and made sure that Willie Gay, if he saw him take off, would close it off, and he did on one play where he stopped Purdy.
But we already knew that Brock. I didn't expect Brock to have a big day on the ground. Brock had a great game, by the way.
He was fine.
He missed a lot. He pressed a lot. But considering the fact of what he was seeing out there, I ain't mad at him. Brock, there's really not much you can say about Brock outside of where he is in his career and what you expected out of him in the biggest game of his life. Brock did fine.
He did fine.
There's nothing you could say about Brock.
That, if anything, if you wanted to say the positive of the Super Bowl in the loss was that it was clear to everybody who watched
it wasn't too big for him,
that the moment wasn't too big, and he played with poise. He took a hit on the chin from Nick Bolton. He was not flustered. He was not deterred. He played a decent game. And then I thought it was also interesting how one of the adjustments that Spags said he made was they were, when they blitzed Leo Chenal, the Wisconsin kid, they were blitzing him off the edge. That was the plan, but they felt like the Niners struggled in the B gaps, and so they started sending him in the B gaps. He said that was effective. So, and then also I thought it was really interesting listening to Spags talk about it. Kansas City's backup wide receiver coach went through all of the Niners gadget plays that Kyle had used in the last year and a half, and they actually worked on the same gadget play that the Niners executed to Juwan, where Juwan threw the touchdown pass. He's like, we actually ran through that in practice twice this week trying to defend it, and he's like, we almost defended it. McDuffie almost made it a play on the ball, but it was a well-coordinated play by Kyle, but I mean, that just goes.
Had an amazing block on that play too.
Yeah, yes he did. I was just going to mention that, and also just the 49ers, the timing of that. The timing was just right. And then he talked a little bit about how that Kansas City, in his mind, he's been around for a long time. He says Kansas City's defense this year is the highest IQ defense he's ever had. He said, just across the board, we got really, really smart defensive players. He called out Mike Pennell up front for being a dominant force in this game.
In his life.
Said he was really key in the playoff run once Derek Nottie went out. Mike Pennell was incredibly strong at the point, and then he also singled out Leo Chenal. He said he played a lot in the base this year, but the guy's smart as hell, really strong, loves football, and they did a Zoom, I guess, during the draft process when he came out and just fell in love with that kid. Singled out Drew Tranquill as a key to their success. And then at one point he just said, you know what, got Baldy, all this stuff, what we did and they didn't do. He's like, at the end of the day, thank God we have Patrick Mahomes. He says he just has that inner confidence to make plays. He says Reed lets his coaches coach, and Mahomes is the difference maker. And then, it's funny that Baldy led him right to water about ripping Kyle on the OT decision making. He said, what were you hoping San Francisco, or what were you expecting San Francisco to do? And he dodged that question, man, so much. He's like, he was like, hey man, I just wanted to know, either we're going on defense, or we're going to sit here and watch Patrick. So he looked at it solely from there.
He tried to make it look like he was literally in the stands with us,
or also like, there was no real right or wrong decision. That it was, it's just like you do what you do, and we react. Then Spags said he'd like to be a head coach again, and he complimented Shanahan.
No, he doesn't.
He says he did. He says he does. Well, we'll see.
No, he doesn't. Why?
I mean,
Why?
he may get an opportunity again because the way
Why would he want to do that again?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I agree, but it's not like being a head coach in college football where you're an executive and you're recruiting. It's still football, except the buck stops with you. I mean, I imagine that when Andy decides to hang it up, that he's going to be the replacement. Some people think it's Nagy, but I don't. I think he'll probably be Spagnuolo. But yes, I'll say this about Spagnuolo: he's got four rings as a coordinator or a head coach. So the guy's done a really, really good job. Let's get to the overtime decision, because Shanahan played it like it was the regular season. Other people claim afterwards, at his presser when he described it, he said, we wanted the ball third. When John Lynch was sitting with him and he's talking to the media, John emphasized that the defense was tired. The defense being tired is really the only reasonable excuse for why you would, take the ball first.
And Kyle, and for the record, Kyle denied that the defense was tired when he was asked about it on after the game directly. He said it didn't have anything to do with the defense being fatigued.
Yeah. So I don't like that decision. You know,
Yeah.
I'd rather have 3 downs and the question mark as opposed to trying to defend Mahomes for 4 downs when he knows what he needs. I didn't like that. I don't know that it was going to work either way, Coach, to be completely honest, because who knows? It's still, you're still talking about Mahomes, and he still drove the length of the field. And you tell me you wouldn't have driven the length of the field if they had started with the ball? I don't know. I get the feeling
there's a couple of things that
they
lost
lost
some
it.
flaws.
They lost it when they couldn't find Ayuk and score the touchdown themselves in overtime. That was a crusher because you just kind of felt like, I don't know about you, but I never felt good watching the Niners kick that field goal. There was no celebration at all. I was like, okay, let's see. It's once again, because I think you asked me the question last week. Would you rather be down and have the ball with a chance to beat Mahomes, or would you rather be up and he's got the ball with a chance to beat you?
Yes.
And I said I'd rather be down with the ball.
With the ball.
And so now the Niners were up, but they didn't have the ball. So
and even during that, if you look at during that play, when we kicked that field goal, a player from the Chiefs, they had the mic'd up on the NFL Network.
I taped it last night. I haven't seen it yet.
It's on the I think the NFL has it on their YouTube channel. You can watch it there. But
isn't it, not to interrupt you, sorry, Coach, but isn't it interesting how Live Mike provides so many details that you don't get on TV, that it's like when I watch the Live Mike, I think to myself, someday we're going to watch this live with Live Mike. And I know there's swearing and there's filtering and there's editing and there's things that nobody wants to get out, but the money will be so great that I think if you fast forward 25 years, 30 years, when this sport's still popular and maybe more popular than it even is today, I could picture Live Mike in the broadcast being a regular occurrence, and how that would just explode our viewing experience and make suddenly the couch, I still think the couch experience is better than the stadium experience right now. But if you want to make it a freaking slam dunk, just have a bunch of people in the stands, getting what they normally get, and now give the people on the couch live audio of the field. And then suddenly it's like, dude, the couch experience is going to be like 10 times better than the stadium experience.
Pretty soon they're going to have like a quarterback cam where it's going to be attached to his helmet, and you're going to be able to actually see what he was looking at through his progressions. It's coming. It's all coming. They're about to start putting like film on the field. They're going to start putting cameras on these boys. They're already putting mics on them, so they're going to start putting cameras on them.
Like a GoPro, you mean? Like something up here?
Yeah, something that like mounted.
Christian McCaffrey cam. You can see him juking somebody.
Or if you they've already got the technology. If you're familiar with Gallaudet University, it's out here in DC. It's the school for the hearing impaired.
Okay.
And Gallaudet, they have cameras on the inside of their helmet where it puts out like almost like a little plastic glass lens over their eye, and it puts out the plays and everything for the players inside of their helmets. So they already use that technology with Gallaudet University, so it's coming. They just have to optimize it.
Let's see if I can get it.
But for me, one of the players from the Chiefs looked over at one of our guys after we kicked that field goal, and he said, "You think that's going to be enough? That ain't enough. That field goal ain't enough." There's so many little things in that, being able to hear. You can tell, like Trent Williams, he was nervous. I mean, we saw it in his play. We saw how he started, but I listened to how he talked. He wasn't talking with confidence. He was freaked out the entire time. He was nervous, right? Alert the pressure. Oh man, I knew we were going to get. I was just like, man up. We trying to win, bro. Like the back and forth from George, the hey George, like my God, Like, dude, what are you? Par for the course, man. Par for the course. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to really even like bring that up. Like, there's people trying to pour water on that. Like, that's not a big deal. Man, you never play sports competitively if that's not a big deal to you. You never been on the field. You never been in a position where, man, in order for you to talk on the field, you got to be the shit. That's how I grew up. You had to be nice, even to let your coach let you talk on the field, to let you talk. And for you to be talking, and even if you talked in between plays. In between, you talking during the play?
I know. That was, and it's like, it's great that he's glib, and it's great that he has fun with it, and God bless George Kittle. But, you know, he got his comeuppance right there.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect for a guy like him for that to happen. It's like, you want the camera, you want the mic, you want the shine. Now you got it. Yeah. Now you got it. And we got you saying your own name. That's the irony. The irony is that you would think you were talking to George Karlaftis. George Karlaftis was too busy trying to get back into the play. You were talking to yourself, brother. You weren't paying attention. And for those who say, oh, well, he got him out of the play. Dude, you play to the echo of the whistle. There's only two options that you have on that play. Either you put his ass in the dirt and take him completely out of the play, which is off the field, or you realize that you've got him out of your gap and you look upfield and start searching for trash. Ergo, either you get the ball looking for trash or you push him out. And that's what adds injury to insult.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake.
But what adds injury to insult is it was your man that recovered the fumble.
Oh, I know.
It was your man.
And you were talking to him, and the whistle hadn't blown, and you got to play to the whistle, and it's the Super Bowl. And yeah, I mean, I bet you that is the hardest.
No consequences should come from it. Nothing at all, but it's just a black eye. That's all it is. Yeah. It hurts.
It was bad. It was really
it was just bad. That's all. No. We should get rid of George because of it. None of that. But for you not to act like that wasn't a big deal just shows how cucked you really are. That was a big deal, man. Don't be cucked.
Well,
it was a big deal. It's okay to say it was a big deal.
People were like, well, are you blaming George? His back was turned. Yeah, I'm blaming George for not going to the whistle. I mean, there was no whistle there. Right. So keep blocking your man, keep being aware, keep playing the game. Stay in character. That's what that's really what we're talking about. I mean, he lost focus there. Maybe it's nervousness. Maybe it was the magnitude of the game.
It's a defense mechanism.
I love George, though. George is a tough football player. George is a really great football player, but he made a mistake.
Yeah, it was just a mistake. It was a
mistake. And, he would own it. That's the one thing about George that I really love is that if George were sitting here, he could handle this conversation. He could sit here and listen to me or Coach or any of you kind of rip him, and he would say, hey, man, I got to own it. I blew that. I can't be talking to him there until I hear the whistle. And, I blew that play, and that one's on me. I should have recovered that fumble. I'm the reason that, I'm not the reason that he recovered the fumble, but he kept playing and I stopped. So, and that's what I love about George. He wouldn't dodge.